passionate, driven, enthusiastic, euphoric. This is who we are as entrepreneurs. But how we leverage these incredible attributes to dream and build businesses that scale and grow is what this podcast is all about. Hello, I'm attorneypreneur Josh Brown, and welcome to Franchise Euphoria. Hello, and welcome back, everybody, to Franchise Euphoria. Josh Brown here. Thrilled to be back again for another episode. Hope you are doing well in whatever it is you're doing. And today we're going to talk about just franchising in general, because there is a great franchise expo that is coming to Indianapolis on the 30th and 31st of this month. So this is being recorded on a Thursday, and so it's happening on the 30th and 31st of January, called the Indianapolis Franchise Expo, which really highlights a lot of different franchise systems. I'm going to have a booth at the Franchise Expo, and there's going to be a ton of franchise businesses there looking to talk to people such as yourself, or at least some of you, who are contemplating, thinking about going and buying a franchise. And it struck me that I should probably do an episode regarding that. Obviously, if you're in the area, if you live in Indianapolis or nearby, you should definitely go check it out. It's on Saturday and Sunday. I think it'll be worthwhile. I think it's $5 to get in or something nominal like that. But the idea of these franchise expos is you get a bunch of franchisors that are there basically promoting their services. You get a lot of consultants, franchise consultants and brokers. There's some presentations that are made by consultants, brokers, and myself, and there'll be one other attorney there as well. And I'll have a booth in which I will be talking to folks about purchasing a franchise, and probably mostly talking to them about my franchise legal review package, so that in the event that they do purchase or are thinking about purchasing, that they be sure to get a thorough review of the franchise. And then for a lot of folks who are just contemplating franchising, which may be the category that you're in, where you haven't fully decided whether or not this is something you really want to do, I'll be talking about a beta course that I'm offering. That's I don't know if it's going to be 6 weeks or 4 weeks, but I'm leaning towards 4 weeks. But a 4-week course on where I'm going to help people identify what type of franchise, or 3 to 4 types of franchises that would or could be a good fit for them, and some of the pitfalls to watch out for. So that is it's going to be more of a webinar based course. And if this is something where you find yourself thinking, gee, I don't know if I want to be in a franchise, or I don't know what kind of franchise would be right for me, this might be something that would be of interest to you. And certainly I'd welcome the opportunity for you to shoot me an email, and I can tell you more about that course. But in light of this expo that's coming up, it just got me thinking about folks, of course, who are looking to buy franchises and who are in that particular position of either very close to deciding on a franchise, or possibly not knowing exactly which franchise to go with. And so what I wanted to talk about today was something that I think is often overlooked and never really stated, but I find is something that is very, very important. And that is, there's a lot of people that are rushing in to franchising, and I'm not quite sure why. It's not that franchising is bad. Of course, I think franchising is good when done well and when you're part of a good system. But I've noticed of late that there are a lot of people who are just rushing to get into a system. And I think that's because of a couple of things. First, I think it's because franchisors a lot of times are pressing for their candidates or their prospects to make quick decisions. I mean, I've talked with several people recently who have come to me to review their documentation, and they will get the documentation from the franchisor, and the franchisor will be pressing for them to make very, very quick decisions. So that's one reason. But another reason is people have this fear that the opportunity is going to disappear. They have a fear that, oh my gosh, if I don't act quickly on this, somebody else might come in and steal this territory or steal this great location that I found. So those are really the two main reasons people rush into franchising. I guess there'd be a third one, would be that they just get excited about the opportunity, and that entrepreneurial spirit kind of takes over, and they start focusing completely on the opportunity and not factoring in the legal risk. So really, that's probably a third reason why people do it, and I often experience that with people as well. But one of the things I just want to hone in on is there's really no reason to rush into it. I know there's the temptation to rush into a franchise. I know that sometimes you feel that pressure. I know that there's excitement around becoming part of a new opportunity. And those are all great things. But you should never, ever, ever rush into a franchise agreement. I have spent much time with folks who have, and they have regretted it after the fact. So that simple message is what I want to get across to you all today. And that is, take your time, stop, breathe, take the opportunity to fully vet a system. Talk to people who are a part of the system. Talk to professionals who can help you, CPAs, accountants, bankers, a franchise lawyer of your choice. Doesn't have to be me, can be anybody, but find somebody who knows what they're talking about and is familiar with franchise laws. I have never seen, in all my years of doing this franchise work, I have never seen somebody or spoken with somebody who said that by taking more time, they lost the opportunity. You simply won't lose the opportunity by taking more time. A franchisor might make you think that. They might try to get you to sign some sort of option agreement where, by you agreeing to take some additional time to make sure that you've thoroughly reviewed the documents, you hold the territory by paying them some amount of money, which I never, ever, ever think is a good idea for a franchisee to do. So they'll do things like that to sort of add pressure. But at the end of the day, it's very rare that a franchisor has multiple people looking at one location. I'm sure it happens. I'm sure it does. I've never come across it. So unless you get into a situation where it's almost a bidding war and you've got another person who's looking at the exact same location, don't get caught up in the madness of trying to get done with the deal as quickly as possible. That is where mistakes are made. And you just don't want to be in that position. Like I've said over and over again on this show, you're signing on to usually a 10-year, sometime 15-year long contract that has a lot of implications, has a lot of legal implications, and usually will cost a lot of money to get into and cost a heck of a lot of money to get out of. So there simply is no reason to rush into a franchise system. A couple other things to consider as to why you should not rush into a system is because sometimes people convince themselves that they're part of a good system. And then as they get into the review of the system, they realize that this is just not what I thought it was going to be. And that's okay. I mean, that happens every single day in regular business. People start businesses, or they get to the point where they have an idea and then they start taking that idea and hopefully trying to turn it into a business. And then they realize 3/4 of the way there that, wow, this idea really doesn't have merit. If you find yourself in that position and you find yourself second guessing, or you find that your gut is really telling you this may not be the opportunity that I thought it once was, that's okay. Walk away. You only want to get involved in a franchise if you are absolutely 100% certain that you are okay with the decision. That doesn't mean you're going to have certainty on your success. You never will. And any franchisor that tells you you're guaranteed to succeed is full of, you know what, not possible. But you need to be 100% certain with the risk that you are taking, and you need to minimize the risk you're taking by making sure that you're doing your due diligence and you're fully thinking about the decision that you're making. So with that, I would just say that, again, if you're in the area this weekend, definitely if you're near Indianapolis, stop by the convention center. I do have a website for the information on the franchise show. If you go to franchiseshowinfo.com/Indianapolis, that's franchiseshowinfo.com/Indianapolis. You can find out all the details about the franchise show. I do recommend that people go to these shows because you will get a lot of information. You'll talk to a lot of people. You'll see a lot of different franchise systems, and they really are a pretty good time and educational. And I think that if you are currently looking at franchise systems right now, you should definitely go to it. But even if you've already pretty much decided on a system, give yourself that opportunity to still go and consider something else, or at least make sure that everything else that's out there isn't going to pique your interest. Again, just another way to make sure that you're making a good franchise decision. So hopefully this was helpful, and until the next time, happy franchising. Hopefully this was helpful for you today. If you are in the market for a franchise, I would highly encourage you to check out my free ebook, which is What to Know Before You Buy a Franchise. You can head over to my website at that's INDY franchiselaw.com, and download it there for free. And let me know what you think. If you're enjoying this podcast, if you're enjoying the value that you're getting from this podcast, I'd also invite you to go to iTunes and provide me with a rating and review. It always helps for visibility on the podcast. So thank you so much for your support, and hope this episode was helpful to you.
Thanks for being with us today on the Franchise Euphoria podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to go to iTunes and provide a review. Also, please remember that although Josh Brown is a licensed and practicing attorney, nothing contained in this podcast should be construed as legal advice, because it is not. The information contained in this podcast is general and educational in nature, and none of it should be relied upon as legal advice. That being said, if you have questions for Josh and would like to contact him, please email him at josh@franchiseeuphoria.com. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope you tune in to our next weekly episode.